waking up.
We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Pelicans make the trip in for this one. This is 2K Sports bringing you the NBA. I'm Kevin Harlan calling the action with my broadcast partners Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. We've got a chance now for our starting lineups from point guard to center. This game should be a good one. And guys, taking a look at Tyreke Evans, what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I think the biggest strength for Evans is his penetration and finishing ability. He's a strong kid, deceptive ball handler, and he uses those shifty moves to get into the lane, and then that strength allows him to get to the basket and finish.
And the creativity as a finisher, really, really impressive, not to mention the strength. I mean, that's a lethal combination. He can finish with power or go finesse on you.
And the Wizards on friendly ground as they continue this homestand. What a story right now for these guys. Win after win. It's been a phenomenal stretch.
Well, I don't know if these fans could be any more behind this team right now. The winning streak has captured this community's imagination. The level of enthusiasm's absolutely off the charts.
Yeah, it's definitely a great atmosphere to be part of. The fans have had a lot to cheer for lately, and it's like they get more and more excited with each win. He's such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
Well, I tell you what, guys, the Wizards were a volatile team last year. At times they looked really good, other times they looked terrible. And that happened throughout the season. One place where they consistently looked better than their record was when they played against the Western Conference.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Thank you, Kevin. Randy Whitman and I spoke just briefly. Going into this game and scouting the opposition, he told me he's a huge fan of Jrue Holiday, saying, you know, Drew's still a guy with so much potential. You just don't see that many point guards with his kind of frame. 6'4", close to 2 bills, and a great skill set to match. He's a guy you love to watch, but you often hate to go up against. Kevin, we'll see if he can have a big impact in this one.
Thank you, Doris. The stupendous finish in traffic. Holiday's got his second bucket of the game to go. And going back to the Wizards playing against the West for a moment, they were relatively one of the strongest teams, Steve, in the East when playing Western Conference opponents.
Pretty interesting stat, isn't it? 14-16 against the West, which may not sound like much, but hey, that qualified for 5th best record in the East. So this is a team that really started to play well down the stretch and play well against good teams, too.
Yeah, really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
That's going to open things up for them on the perimeter going forward, Clark.
Now here is Holiday. He had a 21-point outing in their last game against Phoenix.
And he really kept his head down, withdrawing contact, getting himself to the line, played an aggressive game. That was a big-time help for him and his team.
Gets it to go.
They have got to put a body on it, because otherwise, with his agility and athleticism, they're not going to be able to contain him on the offensive line.
Gets it to go.
Broke out the finger roll, guys. That was kind of a stylish finish.
Looking at the last game for the New Orleans Pelicans, it was a win against the Suns.
Well, Kevin, they constructed a perfect offensive game plan going into that game, and it was quickly apparent how powerless the defense was to stop him.
Powerless is a good way to put it, Steve. We're unlikely to see that many uncontested baskets again anytime soon.
Here's Holiday after the made shot from Clutch. Evans attacking. The finger roll finish at the bucket. Evans has got his first basket.
Brought back the finger roll. That's a nice finesse move to pull off with the defense all over.
Passes it to Dow. Nice ball movement by Washington. The shot's good from Clutch.
That's 4 connections and 5 tries now for him in what's been a great first quarter.
They swipe it. Russell dishes to Ibaka. Lights out. And the Wizards hit again from deep. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Wizards.
Well, their frenetic defense has really been impressive, putting a lot of pressure on ball handlers and turning them over.
You know, another factor in their offense so far has been their ability to convert and score off turnover.
The shot by Holiday, no good.
It's one thing to intimidate with your play, and it's another to get in the face of a player's shot you just blocked. Last season, Ibaka took it to that next level and ruffled some feathers by doing just that.
Here's lights out. 9 points last game.
Well, sometimes, guys, you can forget he's out there, and all of a sudden, bang, he'll string together 3 or 4 shots in a row and just take over the game.
And what I like, quite honestly, is his rock-solid consistency offensively. You know he's going to put the ball in the basket for you every game.
Some changes for New Orleans. Steamsma checked in for Anthony Davis. Jason Smith comes in for Al Farouk Aminu. And Porter subbed in for Tyreke Evans. And speaking of Ibaka getting feisty, I remember seeing him get into it. In fact, with Coach Brooks when he was subbed out of a game, there was that flagrant foul against Blake Griffin. He's got a few.
Well, he's showing a little bit of a hot-headed streak, Kevin. I like that. A little feistiness. You like that from your big men. You want them to be tough.
Showing emotion.
Exactly.
Passion.
As long as you control the emotion.
Well said. Oladipo, the pass to Clutch. And he takes that one up and powers it through.
These teams don't look like they belong on the same court today.
It's pretty ridiculous to have a double-digit lead this early.
And he'll be shooting his first free throw of the game here. That free throw good from Clutch.
Well, this season, a new mascot, new team colors, and a brand new state-of-the-art 50,000 square foot practice facility for the Pelicans. It's not just a new paint job, folks. This is a franchise doing some exciting stuff.
And the officials call goaltending, so they'll award the basket.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
Pelicans trailed by 14. Outside Jackson. Shot to stop the run. He takes it up and lays it in.
That's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
Dishes it to Delfino. Off target from outside. New Orleans has gone 0-3 from three-point land. Nothing yet going outside. Jackson kicks to Beal. Missed inside.
Usually, if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
The shot's good from long.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
So as we end the first quarter, already a double. Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And quite a position here for the Wizards to be in. What do you guys think?
And a good start for this club. I like the way they played together, really moved the ball and did a nice job offensively.
Yeah, excellent ball movement, and it's paid off on the scoreboard, too.
You got Maverick. Perkins is out there with lights out. Then it's Jameer Nelson, and it's Delfino in at the 3 slot. That's the group starting the second quarter for the Wizards. Smith sets the pick for Beal. And the shot is good. Beal's got his first points in this one.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
No good from Maverick. Pelicans trailed by 15. Jackson with it. He dishes it to Steamsma. Back to Jackson. Kicks it to Porter. Just 5 to shoot. Steamsma. No luck. Some solid defense from Perkins. Maverick passes to Long. No good with the wing jumper.
Looked like he rushed that one, guys. The defense was out of position. He was wide open, just couldn't take advantage.
Jackson with it. Now guarded by Delfino. Smith off the left rim and out.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
And that one's good.
Well, it's been all about pace and space with the tempo, the fast break points. Just a huge advantage.
Yeah, they've been looking to push it all the time and to get that early offense, and they're doing it well.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans. First chance of the season for them to go up against this Wizards team.
This was a matchup they thought maybe they could exploit. Another team that struggled last year, but in this case, didn't work out. They lost both matchups.
New Orleans making a switch here. Anthony Davis is checked in for Steamsma. Aminu comes in for Jason Smith. Tyreke Evans is checked in for Porter. And it's Gordon in for Bradley Beal. Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, guys, an aggressive move by the Pelicans front office on draft day, trading away the rights to Nerlens Noel and their 2014 pick in order to acquire the Sixers' young all-star point guard, Drew Holiday. clearly a mandate from ownership to accelerate the rebuild process and win now. And they gave up a lot, but in Holiday, they have a proven player, and he's still just 23 years of age. He can grow with the team. Kevin?
They certainly seem to be headed in the right direction, guys, with a good core attack. Keep talking about it wasn't pretty for him last year, losing both games, and part of the expectations haven't been a whole lot higher this season.
You know, from my standpoint, I do think they've kept their expectations low. So, that being said, this is the kind of opponent they have to beat if they don't want to end up at the bottom of the standings again.
Oscar Gordon. A floater, and it's sent back by Russell. Oladipo dishes to Lynn. A beautiful reverse layup.
Guys, that time you went for the fancy finish for us there, man. That was sweet.
The Pelicans have gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%.
You know, with all the hype that Linsanity got during Jeremy Lin's breakout season, it didn't really do him any favors on the court, guys. In fact, I think you could easily argue that he's been playing with a target on his back for opposing guards who would like to have a big game, against a star like Lin.
Money's checked in for Oladipo. Well, a great rebounding small forward can give any team an X factor. Let's look at a few guys who have been playing that role over the course of the last month. We'll take a look at Aminu, one of the game's best, second in the league.
And maybe they're not the biggest or strongest players in the front court, but that hasn't limited their ability to get in there, mix it up, and come up with a lot of rebounds night in and night out.
Yeah, you mentioned their lack of size and strength compared to the post players around the NBA, but I've always found that the best rebounders usually aren't the biggest guy. They're the most tenacious, and they have excellent timing and the ability to get off their feet multiple times quicker than their opponent.
And getting back to Jeremy Lin, I think with the attention he got in his breakout season, it also brings players wanting to measure themselves against you, saying, let's see how good this guy really is.
Yeah, that's part of it. But I think if you ask Jeremy, he'd rather be playing and having that challenge than, have it the way it was before when nobody knew who he was or really respected his game.
And here's Holiday, 8 points for him. He feeds it to Aminu. The dish now to Gordon. All alone. No good off the back of the rim.
You know, the Pelicans last season, middle of the pack in offensive efficiency, really played a slow-down type of game. Kind of unusual for a young team, but I think that's part of Coach Monty Williams' style. He likes disciplined and deliberate.
And stolen by Russell. Outside, Lin. Now the pass to Money. Maverick. Covered by Evans. No good from Maverick.
Well, in the film session, they'll say that was a well-challenged shot.
Holiday left side. Knocked away. And it's Gordon penetrating. And it's sent back by Russell.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
The shot's good for Maverick. Maverick's got 6 points in the quarter. And the Pelicans, 3rd lowest in fast break points last season. Steve, also 5th lowest in free throw attempts.
Well, that's a lack of talent, Kevin. I mean, usually when you look at a team's roster, if they don't have talent, it translates into those areas. You don't get to the line. You don't get to the free throw line and get easy baskets unless you have talented players. But that's why the Pelicans went out and made the offseason moves that they did.
And the Wizards making a change here. Delfino's checked in.
Well, his playmaking ability certainly worth noting, Carl.
Yeah, you rarely see an efficient offense that doesn't feature good passing, Steve. You know that. He helps keep the ball moving. Drew Holiday established himself as an elite player in a breakout year. When the team decided to move Iguodala, they were looking for a leader, and their young point guard stepped right into that role.
Well, he's so good at recognizing where the openings are and getting the ball to the rim.
The Pelicans have gone 4 of 10 in the second quarter from the field. There's 39 seconds left in the first half of basketball. And for Drew Holiday, with the departure of Iguodala and Lou Williams, the ball was in his hands a lot more last season. Of course, as we know, he made his first All-Star game appearance.
Well, he really produced, Kevin. I mean, upped his scoring, almost doubled his assists, received a lot of votes for most improved. And you mentioned the All-Star game. I mean, he's just 23 years old.
Very good point. Here's Top, rejected by Evans. Out of bounds, Washington takes possession.
Where was he going with that pass? I mean, that's just an awful turnover.
Now Russell. He hasn't scored yet. That I'm sure will change. Delfino kicks to Russell. Passes to Don. Three-pointer, and the shot is good.
His eyes were wide open there, guys. Excellent vision to see they had an open shot outside and get it there.
And through one half, it hasn't even been close. Wizards out front, run away with it. We'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Halftime Report. Washington leading against New Orleans. They've been relentless attacking the rim, dominating in points in the paint, and the bodies down low have been banging away. Clutch putting on a clinic against this defense of the Pelicans. His shooting percentage off the charts right now. He's got the magic touch from the field, no question about it. For the Pelicans, though, they've looked a tightly...
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started.
And what a game for Clutch. He's got 16 points and 4 steals. He's a one-man wrecking crew out there.
And they have no answer for him at this point.
Third quarter action getting rolling right now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's who's on the floor. So the Pelican 5 right now. The backcourt, Holiday and Gordon. Al Farouk Amino is out there with Tyreek Evans. And it's Davis in at the 5 down low. The Wizards have shot just one free throw earlier. 1 for 1 in the game. And so it's New Orleans with it. They'll be off to Charlotte for a meeting with the Bobcats after this one. That will conclude their brief 2-game road trip.
Well, and you know the fans out in Charlotte are desperately hoping for a win there.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Guys, Otto Porter comes from a basketball family. He wore his mom's jersey number growing up, then switched to his father's number 35 upon being drafted. And he kept it in the family in one other way. He never played in the AAU system and just worked out against his own family. Tough family, and it's worked out for him, guys.
Yeah, Doris, a versatile defender and a smart role player. He's been a very nice addition. And Holiday kicks to Evans. Backing him down. Shoots from the post. Gets it to go.
One of the reasons they're behind is because we haven't seen enough of that. He needs to become a bigger part of the offense.
Pass to Don. Fires the 3. Out of bounds, New Orleans will take possession.
And a look here at the Wizards, how they ranked in the NBA last season. 9th in rebounding, 10th in three-point shooting. As for the assist numbers, not as strong for them. Top 20 in the league. They certainly are capable of much better in that area.
Man, what stands out to me, Clark, with what you just talked about is the rebounds, because this is a very physical team. They like to try to bully their opponent at both ends of the floor. On the defensive glass, they were excellent, and then offensively, on missed shots, they really got after it and tried to get second chance points.
Washington calls timeout. They are coming into this having notched a win against the Knicks in their last game.
And you just had to admire the versatility they showed offensively that day.
Yeah, their scoring came from all over the place. If one approach didn't work for them, they found another that did.
And the Wizards are going with a whole new group out there now.
Injury has always been the big concern when you talk about Eric Gordon, but if you're a team, you have to roll the dice on him just because he's such an explosive scorer when he's healthy.
And it's out of bounds to the Pelicans. While we're in this quick break and onto the small forward position and the hottest shooters among them over the last month. Well, you look at lights out, a great player, second in the league. And, of course, Tyreek Evans, even better. He's another top 10 guy in the NBA. Such a talent.
Well, that is such an efficient group offensively. That's really the best way to describe it. Nothing forced, just solid, smart shots.
And at small forward, that's the only way to post that kind of percentage. I mean, just letting them fly from the perimeter isn't going to get it done. You got to get it inside some, too.
Well, going back there at Gordon Clark, you said roll the dice, and roll the dice the Pelicans did, matching the Suns' max offer speed to get him.
Well, he's had a history of injuries, and so it made the decision from New Orleans a little more difficult. And if you're Phoenix, you look back on it now and you think, well, maybe it's a good thing New Orleans matched, because Gordon missed most of last season in New Orleans.
Now a timeout called by New Orleans.
Well, he sees something that he doesn't like. I'm not sure what it is, but I think he's going to make some changes here.
I think you've got to make your adjustments pretty quickly like he's doing here. Otherwise, things can get out of hand. So this is a good timeout.
Davis, the pass to Holiday. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
I thought it really worked out well. The 76ers gave Holiday that big extension prior to last season. He rewarded them with an all-star year. And, of course, then he was eventually moved on to the Pelicans in a draft day deal. But a lot of value in Drew Holiday.
Both free throws good from Holiday. And going back to Holiday, rewarding the Sixers with an all-star season, and Clark still young as well.
I like what I've seen from this young man. He'll continue to improve. I like that he was more aggressive using his size and getting to the rim, increased his free throw attempts. He's got to learn to continue to minimize those turnovers and get outside of the top 2 in the league in most turnovers committed. That's something that I'm sure he'll be locked into getting better at.
Gets it to go.
But you can't leave him alone, especially from long range.
Wizards leading by 20. Here's Oladipo. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good. And Holiday, here we go. Rebound by the Wizards. They'll be playing host to Miami for their next game. That'll be the final game of this 5-game homestand.
Boy, that's a game the Heat would really like to take.
Lets it go. Rejected by Evans. They push it up 4 on 3, and Holiday kicks to Gordon. Out of bounds, Pelicans ball as New Orleans keeps possession. New Orleans making some changes here. Steamsma comes in for Anthony Davis, and Bradley Beal subbed in for Drew Holiday. Got a piece of it. Stolen by Jeremy Lin. Leads him in there.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Now here's Beal. He's covered closely. He passes it to Steamsma. And that one's good. Wizards leading by 20. Here's Maverick, the rim-rattling two-handed jam.
A signature slam right there from the big fella. How many of those have we seen before?
New Orleans has gone 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. Taken away. Led against Beal. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Wizards.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ballgame.
And another thing they're doing is really taking advantage of fast break opportunities, scoring some easy baskets. Now we get a chance to check out Jeremy Lin, how his season went last year, 13th in steals. And he also finished in the top 20 in assists. So this is a guy who really did a nice job of sharing the ball with his teammates.
And, on his way to that top 15 ranking on the steals list, he really established himself as one of the toughest defensive matchups in the league. Well, they've only got a slight edge in rebounding when you look at the numbers, but it certainly feels a lot bigger than it is.
Well, the score has a lot to do with that, Clark. Just based on that, you'd think the rebounding gap would be huge.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
A lot of noise coming from these fans. Pretty unhappy with that call.
Well, we've got a lot of amateur officials in the crowd, and not one of them liked it.
Money's checked in for Maverick. The shot's good from long.
Good job creating just enough space to let that one fly.
The Pelicans have gone even 5 of 10 on shot attempts in the third. It's stolen. Nelson outside. Ibaka outside. From outside, off the mark. The Pelicans shooting at 44%, pretty reasonable. And that's a foul called on Money. That's his first foul. Jason Smith, he's checked in for New Orleans. Now the feed to Holiday. Pass to Porter. Pelicans shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game. That free throw, no good.
A lot of people felt Otto Porter was the most complete player in this year's draft. Just kind of fits the mold as a small forward. He can shoot, pass, handle the ball, rebound, defends multiple positions. Has the potential to be a very good player in this league.
Here's what Washington's going with right now. Kendrick Perkins, he's checked in for Russell. Dow comes in for Serge Ibaka. Oladipo, he's checked in for lights out. And it's Jeremy Lin in for Jameer Nelson. Holiday against Lin. Money. Back to Lin. The three gets the bucket. Lin's got 7 points. That will count. Shot is no good. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this. And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. And it's the Pelicans with the ball. Carlos Delfino out there with Money. Then there's Oladipo. Then there's Perkins. And it's Lin in at the point. That's the group on the floor right now for Washington.
It was almost like he was surprised to be that wide open, yet he knocked it down.
And the Wizards hit again from deep.
They're going back to the three-point shot over and over and over.
That was the 9th straight point from behind the arc, Clark. It feels like they're finding the holes in this defense.
It's Jackson with the drive. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Jackson's got 4 this quarter.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Yep, that's 5 of their last 6 baskets inside the lane. They have really established themselves inside.
Washington making some changes. Lights out comes in for Kendrick Perkins. And it's Clutch in for Oladipo. Here's Lin. Off target with his 3. Here's Morrow. 1 minute now into this fourth quarter. And it's Miller penetrating. It's rebounded by Long.
I'll tell you what, for what's really an elementary shot, he looked a little nervous on that release.
Back to Jackson. Smith outside. New Orleans moving the ball around. Morrow dishes to Smith. 6 to shoot. Morrow. The jump hook. The shot is good off the backboard.
Well, we've seen that more than a few times. An easy bucket in the lane.
Yeah, the interior defense simply has been lifeless.
Here's Lin. And another miss by Washington.
You know, even though he missed that one, great shooters have a way of feeling when they've got enough room to pull the trigger.
Yeah, not enough defensive coverage there to prevent him from firing that time. But, yeah, I think if he's open, he's got to let that thing fly.
It has not been an easy quarter for him, at least offensively speaking.
Good on the three-point shot. Lin's done 11 points here in just the second half.
Boy, they've come out of halftime just smoking hot from behind the arc.
Hey, trust me on this one, partner. They are going to continue to let him fly.
And that's a foul called on Money. That's foul number 2 for him. Washington making some changes. Kendrick Perkins, he's checked in for Money. Oladipo comes in for Clutch. And Jameer Nelson is subbed in for Jeremy Lin. Miller kicks to Steamsma. Jackson. Soft touch off the glass.
8 of the last 10 points at that end of the court have been scored on very high percentage shots in the paint.
Man, it's not necessarily strategic, Mark. It's just a matter of playing with more heart. Got to play hard, guys.
New Orleans making some changes here. Anthony Davis, he's checked in for Steamsma. Aminu comes in for Jason Smith. And Tyreek Evans is subbed in for Darius Miller. Feeds it to Lin. No good on the 3.
And he continues to search for his rhythm. It's eluded him to this point.
Shoots off the screen. Can't get it to go. Now Washington takes it the other way. And just about 3 minutes through the fourth quarter here. And there's the pass to Long. Lets it go with the three. That's good.
Tell you what, they haven't exactly been shy about letting it fly from deep here in the second half.
You know, Steve, if you have the lead, you can afford to be a little comfortable with the three-point shot. You just don't want to fall too much in love with it.
Passes it to Clutch. Here's Maverick, defended by Beal. Pass to Clutch. Offline with his three. The Pelicans have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. And there's the foul. It's on Clutch. That's foul number 2 for him. A big group substitution here for New Orleans. Steamsma checked in for Anthony Davis. Jason Smith comes in for Al-Farouq Aminu. Darius Miller, he's checked in for Tyreke Evans. And Reggie Jackson subbed in for Drew Holiday. Here's Lynn. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Lynn's got 13 points in the second half. Ball's not loose. Stolen by Jeremy Lin. He passes to Clutch. From downtown, it's rebounded by Steamsma.
Very little success for him behind the arc today. Just 1 3-pointer in the first half and still none in the second.
Jackson up top. He kicks to Beal. Back to Jackson. Down low. Just 5 on the clock. The shot's good from Steamsma.
And you can feel the pattern of this game, guys. They're working it inside, dominating in the paint, getting good shots at will.
Well, 4 of their last 5 baskets, guys, have been of exactly that variety. He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Talk about being on his game. Look at the numbers for Lynn. 15 points, and he sprayed home 3 3-pointers as well.
Yeah, productive day for him from long range.
You know, he might not have been able to improve on his numbers from the breakout Linsanity season, but Jeremy Lin last year proved that he's no flash in the pan. He's a starting caliber point guard in the NBA.
Jackson passes to Steamsma. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time.
Gotta love the low post offense. That was beautiful.
Time called here. The Wizards decide to talk it over. They're up by 27. We've got 1:13 left here in the fourth quarter. And a new group getting ready for the Wizards. Russell, he's checked in for Perkins. Doc comes in for Serge Ibaka. Clutch, he's checked in for Jeremy Lin. And it's Oladipo in for Jameer Nelson. And that one's good. And for Jeremy Lin, knee surgery going into last season. He wasn't 100% when the season started.
But we did see his scoring and shooting improve as the season wore on and as he got healthier.
Miller off a bit from Jackson. And it's Miller penetrating. Comes up empty off the pick.
It's been a great day for them on the boards, Clark. It's definitely been a major factor in building this big lead.
And, you know, from a number standpoint, the advantage might not be that large, but they have been manhandling them inside.
Jackson kicks to Miller. Smith sets the pick for Miller. And there's the foul. It's on Clutch. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far. And the Pelicans with possession here. Miller dishes to Morrow.
Good. Heads-up play there, guys, on the assist and the finish.
Wizards have gone only 6 of 14 from the field in the fourth. Nice ball movement by Washington. Here's Hugh. Nails the wide-open jump shot.
Terrific job taking care of business in front of the home fans.
And, Steve, I thought those home fans, gave this team a big lift all game. A lot of positive energy in the building.
Poked away. Shots good by Miller.
Looks like they're going to finish strong, but just aren't enough ticks left on the clock.
Well, Steve, it's a good run they're having now, but they just waited too long to have it.
This is to Delfino. Here's Hugh. Missed. And so it's Washington easily grabbing